Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Heir's Lair. I am your host, aspiring author Jonathan Taylor. Today, the title already gives it away, as all titles do, but I'm still gonna say it because it's supposed to make me more marketable or something. I'm going to do the book-related memories tag, which, when I think about it, isn't really much of a tag. You just have to mention 3 memories that have most strongly impacted your experience with books and with reading as a whole. To that end, I've come up. Okay, I didn't invent them. I remembered 3 such moments, and I would like to share them with you. The first of these moments occurred when I was either 9 or 10 and exploring the attic at my grandparents' house. I don't know if I've mentioned this in another video before, but I spent most of my school vacations growing up at my grandparents' house. They had a huge yard. They had a lot of animals I could play with. It was it always felt kind of fresh to spend my time there and not in the more urban sprawl I spend the rest of the year in. So I was always looking forward to it, even in the winter. But I was always afraid of going in the attic of my grandparents' house, unless I had someone going up there with me, because there were always these spiders next to the entrance, and I was kind of an arachnophobe as a kid. However, on this day I'm about to mention, I finally got over it and went around exploring the attic a bit. While exploring, I found a stack of hardcover books, all of them very old, all of them very dusty, all of them very plain looking, as in they all had white covers that only had the name of the author, the title of the book, and maybe the publisher's logo on them, but were otherwise there was nothing on there. So I found them, grabbed the first book on the stack, and surprise, surprise, it was 20 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. So I sat down there in the attic and started reading. And after about 5 pages, I was hooked. I was engaged. I could get into I was engaged with the world. I could get into what was being presented. I found it exciting. I was like, yeah, I want to know more. I want to read more. I want to see how this goes on, etc. So I kept reading for about 2-3 hours, I guess, until my grandparents came up and brought me out. I was always kind of a shy and quiet kid, but I guess this time I was quieter than usual. So they started searching for me for a while, and they finally found me in the attic. And I was like, okay, I'm coming. And I brought the book with me, and I finished it, and I kept reading it. I didn't finish it on the same day, but I did finish it over the next few days, and then went back in the attic to put it on the stack. And however, I also took the next Jules Verne book out of the stack and started reading that. And I went through a whole bunch of Jules Verne books that way, from that stack. I never sat down at that same spot in the attic to read, because I later found out there was a hornet's nest there. But still, that's how I got into reading fiction. Than I had up until then. The second memory I want to talk about also took place at my grandparents' house. However, it took place during during high school. More precisely, during summer break. My school had a pretty unusual arrangement when it came to summer break, because summer breaks were really freaking long in my home country. However, we still had a required reading that we were supposed to do over the summer break. So yeah, you win some, you lose some, I guess. The problem is that these books were really freaking hard. They weren't exactly they weren't hard to read as in anything about the as in anything about the books was as in the books were of low quality from a production standpoint. But they dealt with some pretty heavy things some pretty heavy topics that you can really only fully understand if you are in the right headspace for that. And at that time, I was not in the right headspace to be able to fully read and comprehend these books. I had to, or at least not instantly, not by going at the same rate I usually go. I had to kind of slog through them, and because I had to kind of slog through them, I also had to go to a place someplace in my grandparents' house where it was kind of quiet and kind of out of the way, so I could be certain I could keep interruptions to a minimum. The problem is that the only place that would fit this description was in my grandparents' covered porch, right next to a freaking freezer. So while I was trying to grind through these books, I constantly hear this freezer going right next to my ear. So yeah, that really kind of turned me off reading fiction as a hobby. Not completely. I still read every once in a while, but not in the same way I had before high school. There was actually a time where I thought about giving up on reading fiction altogether, and that is when the third moment came up. I was 25. I was at this house I am in right now, actually, which is my own, and I had a copy of Therapy by David Lodge in my hand. For those of you who don't know, Therapy is about an old sitcom writer who all of a sudden gets diagnosed with chronic back pain and tries to figure out why he gets chronic back pain. The first half of the book is spent exploring his life and various relationships he managed to build. And then in the second half of the book, we see how his life and his relationships start crumbling and changing, and he tries to deal with that while also dealing with his chronic pain. It's not particularly groundbreaking as a book. It's still pretty good, but what I mostly remember about it was humorous, it was charming, and it was just kind of fluffy and nice. And it is really the book that made me realize, okay, reading can still stay in my life. It still has a place. So yeah, those are my free moments. Those are the free memories I wanted to showcase. If you want to do this tag yourselves, then you can go ahead and do it. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this tag revived. If you have anything you'd like to add, well, there's a comment section for that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you want to see when my next video comes out, then go ahead and subscribe. Ideally, also ring the bell. That way this frickin' site can tell you that you're subscribed to me. Until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.